This afternoon, I will be talking about a couple of things focused on certification, um, self-training, and career credibility. So I'm going to really look at this from a different angle. So the first thing is the lie about tech careers. Everything you've been told about breaking into tech is not correct. It's not complete. Let me put it that way. There's a gap that is costing you opportunities right now, and that'll be the focus of my conversation this afternoon. Two things. Number one, they tell you to get certified and get a job. That is a myth. Thousands of certified candidates get ejected every week. The certificate is not the differentiator. Hiring managers are not really they're not really impressed by certificates alone. The market landscape has changed massively. They're looking for evidence that you can do the work. Now, what I tend to see, having done this for over 2 decades, being a mentor, being a coach, as a trainer, as an industry practitioner, most people are overlearning and they are underdoing. People take another course, another tutorial, another certification. The thing is that the comfort of learning feels like progress, but the real progress is actually action, not just learning. Next slide, please. Now, this is where I'm going today. A credential without a body of work attached to it is just a line item on the CV. I'll say that again. Your certification or your credential without a body of work attached to it is just another line item on your CV. What you think happens is that recruiters see your CV, your AWS certification, your cloud computing certification, your cybersecurity degree, and all of that, and they'll pick up the phone and call you. That is not what happens. What actually happens is the recruiter sees your CV, your certification, they don't see any portfolio behind it, and they basically just move on. Next slide, please. What you're actually doing is you are competing with people who show their work. Emphasis, show their work. Someone with a fewer certifications than you is getting interviews because they build something that is visible. That is the competition that you have. Next slide, please. So you're not competing on effort. Hours that you've spent taking the course and taking the training, credit point or CBS point, whatever they call it, badges that you've earned as a result of completing many training and degrees, none of that is visible to the hiring manager of today. The tech industry does not reward invisible effort, it rewards visible output. So your dedication is super important, not just the fact that you are learning. That's the hard truth. I want that to sink in first. So what I want you to see is the recruiters are looking for what have you built? What have you deployed? What problem have you solved? What product have you shipped? Not just what have you learned or what degree do you have? Next slide, please. So evidence is the competitive factor here. That is the only currency that matters in the markets that we have right now. Highly competitive. Not certificate, not hours, evidence. Now I'm going to give you 3 stacks in this career credibility, right? And I'll break it down for you. The first stack is certifications, of course. I'm not saying certifications are bad. I'm not saying don't take certifications. I'm not saying don't get professional qualifications. No. Certification is, of course, at the very top. That's a starting point. It's the basic starting point. The second thing is self-training. And the third one I'll talk about is proof, which is visible evidence. Let's go through this very quickly. First one, certifications. This is purely knowledge. Certifications confirm that you have the basic understanding of concept, the vocabulary, the lingo, the theory. That is important. It matters, but it is your foundation. It is the minimum entry point, like I said. It signals that you have domain knowledge. It signals that you have domain awareness. It validates that you have theoretical understanding, but it does not prove that you have the ability to execute. A foundation is not a building. you still have to construct something on top of it for you to call it a building. Next slide. Next, self-training is basically what I will call practice. This is where your knowledge becomes skill. Laboratory work, personal project, simulations, side development. This is the engine room. This is where you need to activate your knowledge and the thing that you learn in the theory, turn them into skill. And without this deliberate practice, whatever it is you get from certification or knowledge from it, it will just basically deprecate very fast. With it, you develop instinct. Next slide, please. Proof is evidence, and this is where I'm going with this. Proof is the output of your practice that is made visible and shareable. For example, a GitHub repo, a live deployment that you've done, a documented case study, a write-up showing your thinking, your analytical thinking and your work. This is what closes interviews for you. If it is not visible, it does not count. Make your work findable, shareable, and make it real. I'm talking portfolio, live projects, write-ups, GitHub repos, personal websites, and so on and so forth. We can talk about a lot of examples further on. Next slide, please. So basically, what I've established so far is the fact that a certificate without proof is just a receipt. You bought a course, you passed the exam, you have the receipt. But the receipt is only proof that you made a payment. It doesn't prove that you can actually deliver. Employers are not looking for people who have receipt because they don't pay for receipts. Employers pay for capability. Next slide, please. So as an employer, I was listening to the last speaker, Shadra. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. This is how every recruiter, hiring manager, or technical lead, this is how they think. Your skills are real. Your dedication is real. But if there is no public record of your work, it is invisible to the people who can change your career. Therefore, visibility is not vanity. It is strategy. And that is what I want to take away from today. Next slide, please. So your portfolio is actually your real CV. As you probably know, with AI right now, I can go to ChatGPT and I can construct a beautiful CV. I can go to cloud. I can create an amazing CV. But the CV basically tells a story, which is, this is what I claim that I can do, or this is what I claim that I can deliver. But a portfolio, on the other hand, it shows a recruiter or hiring manager what you did. That's the difference. One requires trust. The other does not require trust. For me to trust you, it's easier for me to trust you based on your portfolio than it is for me to trust you based on your CV. Because your CV is basically a promise, a claim that you can do this. Your portfolio, however, is basically telling me, I have done this, and this is the evidence, and this is the proof of it. In the highly competitive market of today, remove every reason for a recruiter or a potential employer to doubt you by giving them proof. Next slide, please. So what I want you to do is to stop learning. Start demonstrating. You already have enough to build something. It's so free. So much resources on the internet. What are you doing with it? You are learning. Stop learning. Demonstrate. Practice. Proof. Why haven't you done that? Next slide, please. So I'm going to compare two models, right? Just to paint a picture here. I'll paint a picture using this first one, which is the old model that most of us have been advised to follow, or most of us still follow. A lot of mentors and career coaches and trainers, they follow this model, which is learn, apply, and then hope for results, which is basically saying you take courses, you get all the certifications, you send your CVs or your resumes, and then you wait for the recruiter to get back to you. That is the strategy many of us are following. Many people are still doing that. This model actually worked when technology roles were scarce and candidates were fewer. That era, unfortunately, is gone. It's over. Hope is no longer a strategy. Next slide, please. Let's talk about the new model that I preach. It is learn, practice, show up, and get paid. You build a foundation by learning, you get a certification, you get the knowledge. You practice by applying that knowledge in real scenarios. You solve problems. You look for problems to solve and you solve them. Not just solve those problems, you make the work that you've done visible. No matter how imperfect, how rough it might look, make your work and yourself visible. And lastly, you close the loop by getting paid. Listen, every step feeds the next. You can't practice if you don't learn because you have no knowledge to practice. You can't build skill if you don't practice what you've learned. At the same time, there is nothing to show if you haven't done the work, if you have not practiced, you have not solved the problem, if you've not built something, if you've not written something, you've not produced something, nothing to show. And that's what I see on so many people's profile. Look on LinkedIn, I train people every day, and this is where so many people fall. So many people's strategy fall apart. And of course, the last one is to get paid. Listen, in the world of today, with so much resources at our beck and call, you can actually even get paid before you get employed. That's what I'm talking about. Next slide, please. Now, I'm going to talk about a 5-step career acceleration system, which is the 5 deliberate moves. If you execute them in sequence, they can create impact for you. And this is how you go from learner to credible professional. Let's step through quickly. Number 1, you build the right foundation by learning. You choose a domain, and not just choose a domain, go deeper. Pick one domain, go deep on the domain, meaning you take all the relevant courses, you follow all the influencers in that domain, you connect to everybody in that network in that domain, you focus on certification tracks, for example, it's cloud or cybersecurity or data or dev, whatever. Basically, that's the starting point. The goal here is to soak in so much knowledge as much as possible. You want to build a specific marketable skill set. If it is cybersecurity, what aspect of cybersecurity? If it is product management as what? If it is data, what aspect of data? If it is AI, what in AI are you specializing in? Pick a domain, don't go broad, but go deep in that particular niche. Next slide, please. Secondly, build real scenarios from the get-go. So don't wait until you feel like you're ready. Use free resources like free labs, cloud, sandboxes, environment. What you're doing here is you are simulating real world problems and you are breaking things. You are fixing them. You are reproducing output. You are solving those problems over and over again. This is what we call simulation. This is where theory becomes instinct. For example, you could use things like TryHackMe, AWS, they have a free tier, the platforms like ActTheBox. What you're doing is you rebuild documented incidents. Your problems that people say exist, you reproduce the problems, you fix them, and then you showcase the work. Solve real problems in sandbox environments. Next slide, please. The third leg of this framework is to turn the work into written proof. So, for example, every project you build in step 2, every problem you solve, any project you build, anything you create, you basically write it up. A short post, technical blog, a GitHub README, a LinkedIn case study. What you're doing here is documentation transform your private effort into public credibility. Okay, I'll say that again. Documentation, it will transform your private efforts into public credibility. That is what makes a lot of difference. It shows you can think, you can explain, and you can communicate. This is what employers are looking for. Your GitHub, your blog, whatever it is, showcase it. Frame yourself as the ideal candidate. Optimize your LinkedIn, lead your resume with a portfolio link. Mirror the language of job descriptions already. Portfolio must speak directly to the role that you're looking for, not your background. Nobody really wants to know much about, this is my background. That's what CVs do. That is what resumes do. But your portfolio basically gives you the ability to position yourself in strategic communication. Use the language of the job. You lead with your projects, not just job titles. This basically makes it effortless for the right person to say yes to you. Next slide, please. And the number 5. Last one is leverage. This is where you turn your visibility into opportunity, right? You post your updates. For example, if you're one of those who have the ability to build on public, post work in progress updates. Engage with hiring managers directly. Let your network amplify your proof, okay? Share your work. Connect to people in your industry. Opportunities don't come to people that wait. It might sound cliche, but it comes to people who are already in the room. And this is what leverage is all about. When your visibility actually meets your momentum by showcasing your work. Next slide, please. So you're not stuck. The path forward is clear. People talk about the fact that AI is erasing jobs, people are losing jobs and all that stuff. I think otherwise. I think that the resources exist, the tools are free, the knowledge is accessible, but something else is in the way. Next slide, please. You are hiding. You're hiding behind more courses. You are doing more preparation. You are getting ready, and it never ends. The discomfort of shipping imperfect work is smaller than the cost of staying invisible. You don't need to feel ready. Start even before you feel ready. Next slide, please. So what I want you to do is to learn less, apply more. You are not failing because you lack knowledge or you lack resources. You are stalling because you are not converting that knowledge into visible output. Cut the next course. Build the next thing. Every hour that you have passive learning is an hour not spending building the proof and the evidence that you need. So apply more. Next slide, please. Build in public. Document your learning journey. Share your projects with your mates and your network as you build them. Even the messy, unfinished parts. People hire the people they have been watching grow. And I can tell you this is a personal experience, but let's carry on. Next slide, please. So, speed, shipping fast, iterating fast. Don't wait for perfection because perfect is invisible. Many things a lot of you are already building is in your folders, in your computers, is on your drive and all of that, but it is not visible. That we don't want that. We want the imperfect, but with visibility. Share publicly, document loudly, make your work impossible to miss on the internet. Create digital footprint because opportunity is the intersection of these two things. This is where your speed meets your visibility. Neither visibility or speed is enough. Together, this creates compounding effect that passive learners never experience. And this is what makes a difference in the landscape of today. Next slide, please. You do not need, no, you can skip this one. So I've given 7 days, but if people want to follow 7 days, you can do that. But really, you don't need more time. You need more proof. That's the point. That's the message today. Time is not your constraint. Output is your constraint. Start practicing and start producing something tangible. Today, one project, one write-up, one public post, that is the move. That is the strategy. Next slide, please. And this is a playbook and final, just to wrap up what I've been talking about. And if people have questions, I can take them. Stop collecting knowledge just because you feel that you're not ready or you want to get ready. Start building. Pick a domain. Go deeper. One real project, built on top of it. Simulate the real work you're doing. Use free resources, free labs. Recreate professional scenarios from day one. And this is what I've spent the last 2 years of my life trying to solve for so many people. And it has worked perfectly. So I'm not saying something that is theoretical here. I'm talking something I have done over and over and over with people, and it gets results all the time. Document everything you're doing. Write up every project. Make your thinking visible and searchable on the internet. Position yourself deliberately. Your portfolio, your LinkedIn, they should speak to where you're going, not where you're coming from. And share your work. Connect with intention. Let the proof do the talking. Next slide, please. So the stage is ready for you. The question I have for you this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is, are you on top of it? Your career does not need another certificate. It needs your work. Visible, documented, undeniable. So with my blessings today, go and build something. Thank you very much.
My goodness. Thank you so much, Victor. I feel like that was a wake-up call. And I think the way you started was probably quite apt, in that everything we've been told is a lie. And it really is. As a I can confess that I do like to get a certificate or two.
It's the nature.
It's a wake-up call to me too.
It's human nature. I don't blame anyone. I'm the same way. Every one of us is like that. But I think from experience, what I've found doing this with so many people over the years is the fact that the world is evolving, the landscape is changing, and we have to adapt all the time. And the fact that I have done this with so many people by helping them to showcase their work as opposed to showcase their CVs, it makes a whole lot of difference. A whole lot of difference.
Like you said, anyone can build a nice CV now. There's so many, but so that isn't what will make you stand out as a competent professional. So thank you for that. People are asking, can they have your slides? So we'll
yes. I will email you, because actually I noticed that the slides that we shared was the one I did as my first draft. The one I have here has got the branding and the website link and everything. So I'll email that to you, and then you can definitely share with everyone.
We'll definitely share alongside Victor's details if you do want to be involved in some of the work he's doing. As he's mentioned, he's very experienced, as you've seen from the CV and from this talk. So do reach out. Victor, we do have a few questions in the chat, if that is okay. So we've got a question that says, how can people build a strong, credible portfolio if they don't yet have real industry experience?
Simulations.
Okay.
Let me use a scenario, and this is something I'm actively doing and I'm building with Career Bridge, and hopefully, by God's grace, I'm hoping will be public in a couple of weeks. If you want to learn to fly a plane, if you want to become a pilot, right? You can go do the course and go do the training and everything. But then there's an aspect of the training where they put you in a cockpit as though you're going to fly a plane. They call it flight simulation, right? Now, in that cockpit, you would experience everything as you would flying a plane. The only difference is you are in one position. You're not actually flying, but it will feel as though you're flying the plane. Similar stuff when you're learning to drive in the UK. There's a part of the driving test where you do something called simulation. You basically go on the computer and you're literally driving and reading the signs and responding to them, right? What that is doing is creating cognitive behavioral change in your mind to build a skill on how to drive when you actually start driving on the road. The same principle is the principle of simulation. You can simulate your career to success. If you have a CV, you pick a domain, for example, cybersecurity. Let's say you're picking a SOC analyst, for example. Go deeper. Then go and look for problems that SOC analysts are solving in organizations. Recreate those problems and solve those problems and document the solution and your journey. People will believe that more than you saying that you can do this on your CV. And you don't need any organization. You don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anything. You can do that with everything we have available to us on the internet today by yourself. That is the way to go.
Absolutely. And I think that the message I'm getting is there's not really an excuse anymore. You can't use the fact that you're not currently in the field, that's not your current job role, because there are tools and there are ways, but it's thinking outside of the box and outside of paper, black and white CV, and how we've always known how to get a job. Because
what we have been told, and in the way to say, go get the knowledge, put up a CV, send it out, and just wait for somebody to reach out to you. Nah.
Yes. It just doesn't work, and it's clear it doesn't work at the moment. So thank you so much, Victor. We really appreciate your time on this call, and I'm sure that those that are on the chat, they've also really appreciated it, so they will reach out at some point. But thank you. It's been really great to have you.
Thank you for having me.